Hello everyone, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I hope all of you are doing good. First of all, welcome to the live stream. If you are new to my channel, please make sure to subscribe to it and don't forget to like the live stream. Also, if you're not following me over Twitter, 𝗟𝘅𝗻𝗄𝗏, this is my Twitter handle. I occasionally post calls, market updates, uh, over my Twitter account as well. So 𝗟𝘅𝗻𝗄𝗏, this is my Twitter handle. Make sure to give me a follow over Twitter as well. And finally, if you would like to receive more organized updates and calls, please make sure to join the Discord server as well. The link you can find in the description of this video. In fact, all of these links you are going to find in the description of this video and in the chat box also. So yeah, please make sure to join the Discord server as well. That's where you're going to find most of these calls. Before we start with the market update part, let me just quickly go through the two short positions that we have open right now. The first one is of NEO USDT. This one is open. This one is also at the around the entry price. And the reason we took this short position was because price was getting rejected at the daily time frame chart. Although I still believe that I could have opened a slightly better short position. I may have selected a slightly better coin to short because almost all of the market is looking good. Almost all of these coins, they are trading below 1-day 12 period exponential moving averages. They're trading below their higher time frame resistance levels. Although most of these charts have somewhat bullish structure, but still they are looking good to short. And we are positioned in two short positions as of now. The first one is on NEO USDT. You can see that price just had a break below this major daily time frame resistance level, and now we are just retesting this resistance, even though we just had a small move upside. But still, this was just a rejection at the daily time frame resistance. You have 1-day 12 period exponential moving average. This is where price is getting rejected at. And then you have the 4-hour quarterly VWAP. This is the only problem that we have right now in NEO USDT. The ELD VWAP on the 4-hour time frame chart, it's still acting as a support. But I believe that once the whole market starts giving a pullback, this yearly VWAP, it's not going to hold for a long time, and ultimately we are going to see a move towards downside. But let's see what happens. For now, we have NEO USDT short position open. This still is looking good. DC has not been filled. Price is around the entry point. If you are not in this short position, you can still do that. You can simply just enter at the market price. You are going to have a better average entry. And I would like to mention two important things. First of all, please make sure to just like the live stream. We have 50 plus people watching the live stream, but still only 9 of you have liked it so far. Most of you who are watching this live stream would jump into these positions that I mentioned. These positions are basically given in the Discord server, and then you would be asking for updates on Twitter and other social media platforms. Obviously, I just cannot respond to everyone, over all of these different platforms. It's best to simply just join the Discord server. If you are opening this position right now, just join the Discord server. And if there is any update, you can simply just ask in the general chat. And if you have opened the position, you would like to receive any update, you can simply just open a support ticket, and that's where we will give you an update. Or you can simply just handle it on your own. This is the entry point for NEO. The DC is around 6.747. Stop loss is a hard stop loss 7.063. This is a swing position. I'm not looking to close it anytime soon. I would simply just continue playing a few more short positions as soon as we de-risk the first one. So the second position that we have is on Omni USDT. This one is moving quite slow, and that's a good thing. This coin has a history of moving a bit slow. You can see that back on 27th of April as well, price was consolidating in this range from 27th of April to almost 1st of May, right? For the next 3-4 days, it just continued to consolidate in the same range before finally having a move towards downside. And this is the disadvantage of trading in a sideways market. Bitcoin basically is although the structure on the Bitcoin is looking bullish, we'll be talking about that part later on. even though Bitcoin has been making decent moves, but the uncertainty is definitely there, especially in the altcoin market. You see, with Bitcoin price going up and Bitcoin dominance also going up, altcoins would generally remain stable, right? You may have some outperformers, you may have some coins outperforming the rest of the market, but whenever the price on the Bitcoin chart is going up and Bitcoin dominance is also going up, meaning it's a dominance led rally in the market, then you would see the altcoins, they would remain stable. And this is exactly what's happening right now. The altcoins, they're just stable, and except for a few coins that are outperforming the rest of the market, the overall market is just generally stable. Same is the case with USDT dominance also, but once again we'll be talking about that part later on. Okay, coming back to the Omni USDT, this short position we have open, you can see that this one is slightly better in comparison to new, because you have 4-hour yearly VWAP acting as a resistance, 4-hour quarterly VWAP, 1-day 12-period exponential moving average. You can see that just during the past few hours price went back up, and just we just had a rejection at this yearly VWAP and quarterly VWAP, and chances are that after a brief period of consolidation it would ultimately move back down to 2.155. This is where the next support for Omni USDT is. But for now, these two short positions I have open. There are few opportunities to open short positions on all of these coins are looking good. You can see that I have a long watch list. Python, this is something that I talked about, I guess, during my last live stream last week. It was looking really good to short back then, and it's still legged it has been looking good for a short position. You can see that, but once again, some of these coins, they are stable. Some of these coins, they are outperforming the rest of the market. They are in top gainers. Some of these coins, they are in top losers. But 80 to 90% of the coins, they are usually just stable. So it's a bit difficult to find one coin that would be in top gainers or top losers. So that's why you would see that most of these coins, they're just consolidating. But C98 dogs, these two short positions we had last time, both of them went almost 7%, 8% down. But once Bitcoin again made a move over weekend, that's when both of these positions got stopped break even after TP1. But all of these coins, you can look at GRT. This one is sitting on support. I was planning to take a long position on it, but meme USDT, I have been also planning to take a short on this one. You can see that this one is sitting at the resistance level, yearly VWAP. Pico USDT, you can see that this one is just breaking below the trend line DYM. This one is sitting at the resistance level. Tyco just had a break above the resistance level, flipping it into support. But all of these coins are looking good for shorts, right? But the main problem once again is that Bitcoin right now is looking very, there is a lot of uncertainty in the market right now. Every now and then we get to hear a new news. Every now and then we get to hear something about in terms of economy, in terms of some macroeconomic news events. It's really difficult at this point to choose the right direction. But I would suggest keeping an eye on USDT dominance for as long as Bitcoin is definitely making some moves. Bitcoin just has been holding. If we just talk about the Bitcoin chart first, I know that we usually always talk about the USDT dominance chart, but there is a reason why 1-day 12-period exponential moving average is one of my favorite indicators. You can see that on the Bitcoin chart, 1-day 12-period exponential moving average price has been just consolidating above this level. Okay, just focus on this yellow line right here. You can see that we had a break above this line back on 11th of April. Then we had the first bounce, then we had second bounce on 20th of April, then we had the third bounce on 6th of May, then we had this another bounce, then we had this another bounce on 15th of May, then we had this fourth or fifth bounce back on 19th of May. So you can see that for as long as, to put it in the simplest possible words, for as long as Bitcoin is trading above, just forget about these support and resistance levels as of now. Okay, we'll be talking about that part later on. But in terms of dynamic levels, Bitcoin has been holding above 1-day 12-period exponential moving average, has been showing strength. The overall market structure of Bitcoin is still bullish, but the main problem with the market structure, the reason why I don't really talk about market structure during these updates, is because market structure, it's it's a delayed approach, right? So if Bitcoin has to make a reversal here, it's not going to happen immediately. It's not like you would see signs in terms of market structure. We usually look at market structure on the 4-hour time frame chart. So, you would see signs of reversal in terms of market structure, maybe like after a few days. So that's why, it's not really important to talk about market structure if a reversal is about to happen. But uh, I would show you the simplest possible chart as well, the one that I posted over my Twitter account also. But in terms of short-term update, Bitcoin is holding above 1-day 12-period exponential moving average, this yellow line, and nothing really is gonna change in terms of the Bitcoin chart for as long as we are trading above 1-day 12-period exponential moving average. We know that it's one of the most important dynamic line. Only once we break below this dynamic line, once we flip this into a resistance level, only then things are going to change. We can look at a bit of historical data as well. You can see that once we break below, price would just this level would simply just act as a strong resistance level. Rejection, this was a failed break above, once again rejection. So you can see that this dynamic line or this dynamic level, it's quite good, but so far price is just holding above 1-day 12-period exponential moving average and quarterly VWAP as well. If you look at the look at the reaction at the quarterly VWAP, the last bounce we had, it was back on 6th of May, and this wouldn't really be considered as a bounce at the quarterly VWAP, but still price is just holding above both of these dynamic levels. Once we see a break below these dynamic levels, only then you would start turning bearish, and only then you would expect price to go back down to at least this level right here, 97,000. If we talk about the support level, although the Bitcoin chart, I always mentioned this thing, has been a bit noisy in comparison to the USDT dominance chart, but still this is the important level that you need to be focused on. 102k, 101,000, this level. If we close a few 4-hour candles below this level, below these dynamic lines, because as of now we have failed to close 2 or 3 consecutive candles below 1-day 12-period exponential moving average. In this case, we just had a small candle close. We did not break below the quarterly VWAP. Once we break below these two dynamic lines, right now quarterly VWAP is at 102,000, 1-day 12-period exponential moving average is at 103,000. Once we see 2 or 3 4-hour candle closes below this level, then this break would be confirmed, not only below these two dynamic levels, but also below this horizontal levels, and only then you can expect price to go back down to 97,000. And I would suggest, I know it's a bit difficult thing, market has been extremely choppy, it has been extremely noisy, it has been moving sideways, continuing to consolidate in the same range. I know it's a bit difficult to trade right now, but this is the reality of trading, right? Sometimes no trade is the best trade. Instead of getting caught up with this choppy market, you can simply just stay on the sidelines and you can wait for better market conditions. I'm not talking about waiting for months and months. I'm just talking about waiting for a few days, maybe 2-3 days. We have seen that in the past as well. If I show you the USDT dominance chart, we have seen this in the past. Bitcoin continued to consolidate between 83,000 to 87,000 from 23rd of April to at least 6th of May. And then, we suddenly had, when the US-China trade talks started happening, that's when we just had a sudden break below this support level on the 4-hour time frame chart. And that's when we had clear market conditions. And if I just talk about myself, the coins that I shared, the calls that I shared in the Discord server, almost like we had 8 to 9 successful calls in a row. Okay, we just had almost all of those positions, those were long positions, and we just continued to have those successful positions, profitable positions. We were simply just trading the breakout. So that's why we are seeing a very similar kind of pattern. I can show you the resistance levels on the USDT dominance chart also. This is a resistance level that I'm talking about. These two trend lines you need to be focused on. First of all, unfortunately right now, even if you look at the USDT dominance chart, you have these two trend lines. Okay, I don't really like to trade this trend line, but I have seen this happen in the past also. I've talked about this in the past also, that breakouts above this kind of a trend line, the only two trend lines I usually trade, the first one is this one and the second one is this one. Okay, but another variation of these two trend lines is something which looks like this. And I have seen this happen with a few coins, that whenever the break above this trend line happens, it's usually a very impulsive breakout. But at the same time, we have this upward forming trend line as well. We have this ascending trend line also, which means that, there could be a break towards downside as well. Right now, if we talk about the dynamic levels, we are just about to hit the 1-day 12-period exponential moving average and quarterly VWAP on the USDT dominance chart. But you can see that we had multiple rejections at the 1-day 12-period exponential moving average. We had a failed breakout. So right now, it's really important to see what happens above this trend line. Focus less on this resistance level because we already have seen that there was a failed breakout. Focus more on these two trend lines. Okay, that's when you are going to get a clear market direction. If we break below this trend line, then we would ultimately go back down to 4.43%, which is going to be 110,000 for you. Okay, a new all-time high possibly. And I would show you if price breaks above, and if we close a few daily candles above this level, above this resistance level that I'm talking about, 107k is the resistance right now, then we would ultimately go up to at least 125,000. That's where my target is going to be. I would be more than happy to buy at that level, right? Around 106k, 105k, but that really depends on the daily time frame structure. I would be talking about that part later on. But if we just focus on the USDT dominance chart, which is something that we always talk about in terms of Bitcoin, we have two trend lines. Okay, just forget about support and resistance once again, because we just already had a failed breakout, almost two failed breakouts above this resistance level. We have this trend line which can easily give you a break towards upside. In that case, we would ultimately go back down to, if USDT dominance goes back up to 4.94%, that's when we would ultimately go back down to 97.5k. And 97.5k has not been retested before. 97.5k retest is pending. We know that first retest is always a good opportunity to take a longer short position. So 97.5k is going to be a good point to bet on Bitcoin if that breakout happens. But if we break below this trend line, right now I just cannot say anything, to be very honest. I have tried to predict this, but I was anticipating that, when this break happened, the price would ultimately go back up to 4.94%. And we had some bad macroeconomic activity as well. Recently we had a downgrade in US credit ratings by major credit rating agency. But still, the equity market was down. But as soon as the markets opened yesterday, we just had a positive move in the equity market also, a big positive move in the equity market also, despite the bad news event. Same was the case with Bitcoin as well. We had two short positions open, and I usually, whenever I open short positions, those positions are very calculated. And to be very honest, I am, most of the times comfortable opening a short position than opening a long position, because shorts, they would usually play out well, even if the market is generally stable. But with long positions, you can always have some outperformance, and that's why I usually avoid opening long positions when the market uncertainty is on peak. So I have two short positions open, despite the fact that Bitcoin is in a strong bullish uptrend, despite the fact that others.d, total 2, total 3, which we will be talking about later on, all of these different coins that they are sitting above the support level, I still have two short positions open. And this is usually a requirement as well. Okay, no matter how much we avoid these market conditions, no matter how we try to avoid these market conditions, it sometimes become a necessity. Sometimes you get pressure from your audience, sometimes it's just hardwired into your brain to just go from one position to the next immediately. This happens to me a lot. Okay, I don't know if it's the same with you guys or not, but as soon as I de-risk one position, I immediately try to get into the next position. I wouldn't really consider it a bad thing. I usually have set rules that I cannot have more than two open positions that are at risk running at the same time. But usually it's not considered a good thing. But still, when you are focused on trading all the time, when you are a full-time trader, when you care less about money, when you care about when you care less about the rest of the advantages of trading, all the privileges of trading, then you are mainly concerned about cracking the market. Then you're mainly concerned about jumping from one position to the next, even if it's a profitable position or a losing position. This is exactly the same thing with me. I generally don't have a cap on how many positions I can have in 1 month. I try to get as many as possible. But in terms of open positions, I would always have two open positions running in one direction at the same time, that are at risk, right? But anyways, coming back to the USDT dominance part, we have these two trend lines, and now we are just heading into 1-day 12 period exponential moving average and quarterly VWAP. And we have seen this in the past also, that 1-day 12 period exponential moving average usually acts as a strong resistance level. We had a failed breakout above. This could simply just be considered as a deviation also, but since market is just continuing to consolidate in the same range, so I would not really term this as a deviation. I would not really focus on the horizontal levels. I would be more focused on these two trend lines and these two dynamic levels, which are in the form of 1-day 12 period exponential moving average and 4-hour quarterly VWAP. So it's really important to keep an eye on the USDT dominance chart right now. The uncertainty is on peak. There could be a break towards 110k, or there could be a break towards downside as well. So many important things are also happening in terms of geopolitics as well. Trump recently announced on his Twitter handle that he had a call with Putin. He basically mentioned that Russia and Ukraine, they are now going to have direct peace talks. US is not going to be a part of those trade talks. They are going to directly negotiate with each other, and they're serious about it, and the negotiations are happening really soon. And he talked about some trade deals, some trade agreements with Russia as well, that it has great potential. Both countries have great potential, so it could be a big thing. Markets did react to that a little bit, but right now, I don't really think it's an important thing. Only the announcement of negotiations, that's not enough. We need to have some kind of important trade deal. We need to have some kind of important trade agreement. We need to have some kind of important peace deal, right? So coming back to the chart, let's see if the break is above this trend line, or if it's below trend line. But right now, in between these two levels, it's simply just a no trade zone for me. If you are not comfortable opening any short position, then I would just avoid opening any long positions. I would simply just recommend that you avoid opening any long position right now. Longs are not really something that I would favor right now, especially considering that if you look at the fear and greed index, we are in the greed territory, right? And we know that whenever market enters into the territory of greed, there is usually always a local top, and anytime a pullback happens down to 100, 101,000, 102,000, we are already sitting at 104,000, right? We just had a small $500, $1,000 drop. But, once again, this is a dominance led rally. Bitcoin, not only the price in the Bitcoin chart is going up, but at the same time, Bitcoin dominance is also going up. Okay, this is the most important thing. Bitcoin dominance made a huge move. And if you guys remember, during our last live stream, I did talk about this deviation. And remember, how we always mention that the first retest is almost in 99.9% of the cases always a successful retest. The same thing happened with dominance right here, Bitcoin dominance. We just had a successful move, and now we just not only had a successful move above the support, but we also created a deviation below support, which would have further strengthened this move. We just almost have gone past the 50% of the move downside that we had during the past few days when the overall altcoin market rallied. But once again, the important part is that this is a dominance-led rally, which means that if we see a small drop in Bitcoin, just a $2,000, $3,000 drop in Bitcoin, at a time when Bitcoin dominance is going up, market capitalization of Bitcoin is already going up, altcoins are going to suffer a lot. And this is why, although these are choppy market conditions, market is still consolidating, the reason why you would want to have short positions open instead of long positions is because this is a dominance-led rally. If price at any moment goes down from here, okay, if price on the Bitcoin chart goes up, and since Bitcoin dominance is also going up, altcoins, they are not going to go up huge. Okay, this is what, this is really important. And you need to understand this relationship. And based on this relationship, you need to decide if you should be opening long positions or short positions in periods where market is simply just moving sideways. Now, in the current market situation, since not only the price for Bitcoin is going up, but at the same time, Bitcoin dominance is also going up. So it basically means that altcoins are not going to go up huge. Altcoins, they are not going to explode immediately until and unless you're talking about an outperformer, which is really difficult to find out, okay? And if price from this point goes down on the Bitcoin chart, just because Bitcoin dominance is going up, altcoins are going to suffer a lot. They're going to go down a lot. So you are in a win-win situation that if price on the Bitcoin chart goes up, altcoins are not going to go up huge. You can always have a DCA set. Otherwise, I would simply just avoid opening any position in these kind of situations. But in case you really want to do that, you should have open short positions. In case price on a Bitcoin chart starts going down, since dominance is going up, all these altcoins, they would go down, and you would ultimately be profiting from these short positions. So that's why it's really important to understand this relationship. And right now, Bitcoin dominance, you can see that just had another rejection. Back on 18th of May, we had rejection. It was expected at this resistance level. Once again, the same statement comes into play, that the first retest is always your single best opportunity to take a longer short position. This was the first retest of the support on the Bitcoin dominance chart. This was the first retest of the resistance on the Bitcoin dominance chart, and that's why we saw a rejection candle. Okay, and this was the first retest of the support. You can literally see three examples: the first retest of support, the first retest of resistance, the first retest of support. Once we reclaimed this level, once we flipped this level from resistance into support. So on the Bitcoin dominance chart, it's not showing any signs of weakness. Okay, I still think that the last move we had, the local top we had in this rally was up to 65.41%. I still believe that it's going to move. It's going to move upside. It's going to make another move all the way up to 70% level, and that's where we are going to see some kind of clarity. That's where we are going to see a real drop towards downside, the one that we saw back in 2021, which would ultimately trigger an altcoin rally. Until then, you are simply just going to see these small periods of relief rallies, small periods of altcoin rallies, whatever you would like to call it, in the altcoin market. And all of these rallies, they're going to be quickly followed by a sharp move downside in the altcoin market, because Bitcoin dominance is really strong, and this has so far been a dominance led rally. Okay, you need to understand this thing. If we talk about the past 1 year, Bitcoin dominance has continuously gone up. Bitcoin dominance has continued to increase. Market capitalization for Bitcoin has continued to increase. The reason is that because this has been a Bitcoin dominance led rally, and that's why altcoins, they are not going to outperform the market for as long as the dominance is strong, right? So, there is an expectation. I still believe that at some point in time, because Bitcoin dominance is looking strong, in the next few hours, maybe you are going to see a break towards upside in dominance. And that's when, if Bitcoin starts going down from here, that's when you can see a sharp increase in Bitcoin dominance. And once it reclaims this resistance level, it can easily go back. It can easily just continue with its move towards upside. And that's when you're going to see a major drop in the altcoin market. And that's why, once again, you need to be avoiding any long positions right now, because long positions are at a greater risk in comparison to short positions. Although, because we have an uncertain market situation, both could be at a certain risk, but short positions are long positions are at a slightly greater risk because of Bitcoin dominance situation that we have right now. Okay, let's talk about the others.d chart, total 2 and total 3. All of these charts are looking basically the same. If you first just talk about the total 2 chart, you can see that we had the first rejection, we had the second rejection, then we had the third rejection, right? Which means that this trend line has now been confirmed. Now we have a confirmed trend line on the total 2 chart. And by the way, it's really easy to play out all of these moves if you are focused on one or two charts, not just your favorite altcoin chart, the one that you wish to trade, but also the total 2 chart, Bitcoin dominance chart, and just to make things a little bit easier for you, others.d chart as well. Okay, you can see that we just had a break towards upside. We had a break above this resistance level as well. This was a major resistance level. We had a rejection at that level. Now we just came back down to the support. We had a bounce off this level, and now we are just going back down to these levels, right? So right now, it really depends on, first of all, Bitcoin dominance. Secondly, you need to look at the total 2 chart as well, because not only Bitcoin dominance is increasing, but at the same time, total 2 is just stuck between these two levels. Okay, I'm not going to talk about the dynamic levels, because dynamic levels, they are not really going to give any important insight here. If we just talk about these two levels, right, we have resistance level, this is a support level. If I just show you this resistance level, we had a break below this level back on 2nd of Feb, 3rd of Feb, and that's when the things started making a shift in the altcoin market. If you guys remember, we had a major drop below the support level. We had a major flip of support into resistance on the others.d chart as well. Same was the case with Ethereum as well. Same was the case with the total 2 and total 3 charts as well. So right now, we're just trading between these two levels. We just confirmed this descending trend line, which means that at some point in time, we may see a break towards upside, but things are not going to change for as long as we are trading below this major daily time frame resistance level. So right now, this is a support. as soon as price drops back down to this support level, that's when you need to be slightly cautious about any open short positions, because you may see some kind of drawdown. As soon as price on the total 2 chart goes back up to this resistance level, that's when you need to be slightly cautious about any open long positions, because if the breakout does not happen, just like was the case during the last few days, you're going to see some kind of drawdown in your open positions, right? Now, if we talk about the others.d chart, same kind of trend line we have. You can see that the first rejection, the second one, third one, now we just had the fourth one as well. But I would still like to see others.d chart, price on the others.d chart going back down to this support level. First of all, this was a deviation below the support, which means that the deviation retest has not happened as of yet. If we talk about the dynamic levels, we are trading below 1-day 12 period. This is exactly where we got rejected off at back on Sunday. Then you have the yearly VWAP, then you have the quarterly VWAP as well. A breakout towards upside, there is a possibility that a break towards upside may happen, because we are literally just sitting on the support. But still, the way that we are sitting above the support level, you can see that we just had the first bounce, the first retest. Once again, another beautiful example of how the first retest works. You can literally see that. I've shown you multiple examples of this. The first retest, this was after we had a break towards upside. This was also the first retest after we had a break towards upside. But this is also, by the way, looking like a low key head and shoulder chart pattern. You have two shoulders and then you have head, and then this was a break below the neckline, and then this was the retest of the neckline. And that's when, if you guys remember, we opened two short positions. The first one was in C98 and the second one was in dogs. Both of these short positions went down almost 7%, 8%, then got stopped break even after this move happened. But that was a good move, right? Opening those two short positions, that was a good move. And now we once again have two open short positions, because I still believe that, others.d, it's still sitting on support. By the way, it has this descending trend line, which means that a breakout may happen towards upside at any time. But still, I would like to see price going down lower, at least to this support level, because of the reaction that's happening on this support. If you zoom in a little bit, you would notice that the first retest happened, you had a bigger bounce. The second retest happened, this was a smaller one in comparison to the first ones. Then you had this third bounce. This was the smallest one in comparison to the two previous bounces. And now you have this fourth bounce happening, which is probably going to be the smallest one in comparison to all of these, 3 or 4 bounces. And I believe that ultimately you're going to see a move towards downside. Once again, it's speculation. For as long as price is sitting above the support level, you have no right and you should have no tool to imagine that price is about to break below that support level. Same is the case with resistance. You may just create as many assumptions as you want that price is about to break above this resistance level. There is going to be enough buying pressure coming in, but for as long as we are sitting at the resistance level, there is no tool that would help you imagine that, or that would help you validate that price is about to break above the resistance level. Some people point out towards volume, but there could be volume fake outs as well. There could be simple just fake outs as well. There could be deviation as well. So it's not a good idea, in my opinion. I've been trading for the past 8 years and I can tell you this thing. It's not a good idea when price is sitting above support. It's not a good idea to predict that it's about to break below that support. And when price is sitting below the resistance level, it's not a good idea to predict that it's about to break above the resistance level. But for now, since I have two open short positions, I would really like to see that, I have a right to say that I would like to see others.d going back down to this level. And, because, this would be the deviation retest. So chances are that it's going to be a successful one. But, in a short term, I still believe that, this is the next support, and on the others.d chart, there is every possibility that we may go down to 7.43 support level as well, which has not been retested, by the way. If you look at the daily time frame chart, this is the support that has not been retested. The last time we, went back down to this level was on 4th of January 2021. That's when, the bottom was marked for all of these altcoins, and that's when we started to have a major altcoin rally. So I still believe that there is a possibility, there is still a decent chance that we may go back down to this level as well, and that's going to happen once Bitcoin dominance makes its final move. Okay, now over to you guys. If you have any questions, any general questions, please make sure to ask. And by the way, I have been working on creating a PDF. Although 60+ people are watching the live stream, only 29 of you have liked it. I would really appreciate. That's not really going to cost you anything. I would really appreciate if all of you are simply just, press the like button, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, make sure to give me a follow over Twitter, 𝗟𝘅𝗿𝗚. This is my Twitter handle. I occasionally post updates, calls, market updates, everything over my Twitter account as well. And finally, if you're not in the Discord server, the link you can find in the description of this video, in the chat box as well. Make sure to join the Discord server, all right? And I would really appreciate if the questions you guys ask are not just chart requests, but just the, some general questions as well, related to strategy, related to some macroeconomic events that you are seeing unfolding in the markets, or it could just be any other general question. And by the way, I have been working on a PDF. Sabrina is here. She's helping me, create that PDF, and some of other people from our team as well. We are working on creating a comprehensive FAQ document. If you have any questions, my team is here. You can simply just drop your question. That would be included in that document. We are creating the document that would help you answer any of these general questions that you have related to strategy, like what percentage of your position you take at the first TP, what exactly is your strategy like, what exactly are the confluences that you are using. All of these questions, they're going to be answered in that FAQ document that we are preparing, right? Could you show us how to set the VWAP to different time frames? Okay, that's quite easy. You just have to apply this VWAP indicator. I'm using MP VWAP indicator. This is a custom made indicator. You would have to request it by joining the Discord server. It's really easy. If you would go into the settings, you can see that it has the option for yearly VWAP, quarterly VWAP, monthly VWAP, weekly VWAP. Because I trade on the higher time frame charts, not on the smaller time frames, so that's why I'm generally using the quarterly VWAP and the yearly VWAP only. In the input section also, you have the same options: quarterly, yearly, monthly, weekly, and then you can simply just change the colors and everything. You can simply just play around with these settings, but I am mainly using yearly VWAP and quarterly VWAP. You don't really have to set it on different time frames. You can see that quarterly VWAP on the others.d chart on the 4-hour time frame is at 8.16%. As soon as I would go to the daily time frame chart, you can notice that now it is at 8.28%. So you don't really have to change any settings. You simply just have to apply this VWAP indicator. And by the way, this is a rolling VWAP indicator. This is anchored, but it's slightly different from the traditional anchored VWAP indicator. It's not anchored to the the first day of the week. It's not anchored to the first day of the month. It's not anchored to the first date of the year. It's simply just rolling VWAP, taking into account the average for the past 30 days, for the past 365 days, or for the past whatever days are in one quarter, right? So you don't really have to change anything by going into the settings. You can simply just apply the indicator, and you can just keep on changing the time frame, and it would automatically be adjusted as per the time frame that you have selected. It's relatively very easy. Could you share the link to your updated charts on TradingView, please, to sync? Yeah. Let's do it with the USDT dominance chart. Go to the 4-hour time frame, just turn off this indicator, and let me share the link with you. I just shared the link in the YouTube chat. You can copy this link, paste into your browser, and this layout, it would automatically be copied into your TradingView terminal. How do you determine how to change the settings for your indicator, like the TVEM bands or VWAP? It's basically just trial and testing, right? You would have to test it on your own. The 2 TVEM band settings that I'm using, let me show you. The first one is this. The VWAP period has been set to yearly. EMA time frame has been set to 1 day. And then the multiplier is simply just fixed. You can simply just ignore the multiplier. The 3 most important things are EMA period is at 200, EMA time frame is at 1 day, and VWAP period is at yearly. The second TVEM band indicator that I'm using, for that one, the yearly VWAP is changed to quarterly. 1 day time frame is changed to 4-hour, and the EMA period has been fixed. It is still set at 200. These two TVM band settings work best for me, but you can see that still since we have 3 different options. In the first one you have quarterly, yearly, monthly. The second one you have 1 day, 12-hour, 4-hour, 3 day, 1 week. In the third one you have 200, 12, 21, 50, 100. So they are going to be multiple combinations, right? If you know anything about combinations, back in high school, we used to learn about combinations and what was this other term? In terms of probability, there are two most important things. One is combination, and the second one is represented by P. In terms of probability, I don't know what exactly do you call it. I just forgot. But it basically tells you how many possible combinations there are going to be if you would take into account all of these different variables, right? So there could be literally hundreds of different combinations if you would take into account all of these different variables that I just showed you, which means that you would have to just use one or two settings that are working best for you. It's not really possible for you to simply just test all of these different options at the same time. It's going to take up a lot of time. So that's why these two settings I have found, they work best. So that's why you can simply just work these two settings, right? And the TVM band indicator. Question, but I don't know how to frame it. You have talked about spending many hours a day looking at charts. Is there anything we can do to help you find setups? You can basically do the same thing that I'm doing. Since most of you are already in the Discord server, even if you are just following me over any other social media platform like in Telegram or on Twitter, you would know what confluences I'm using. I'm generally just taking help from support resistance, 1-day 12-period exponential moving average, and the quarterly VWAP, and based on that I'm usually taking a long or a short trade. And in fact, from time to time I pitch this question. I'm usually asking my audience, this thing happened almost like a week or two ago when we had real good market conditions. I asked the audience that if you have any pair that you think is looking good in terms of trendline breakouts, because at that time 99.99% of these coins, they were making moves just because of trendline breakouts. And that's why I did ask my audience the question that if you have any pair that you think is looking good, is about to give a trendline breakout, make sure to just tell me the name and I would chart the setup. Okay, and people actually did it, and I actually selected one of those coins. We actually traded some of those coins successfully as well, right? So yeah, if we already have open positions for which the stop loss has not been moved to break even, then there is absolutely no point giving me any ideas to open a new position, because I just cannot do that. I just mentioned to you that I have a cap of 2 open positions at one time in one direction that are running at risk. It's not simply possible to open another position at that time. For example, right now we have 2 open positions. One is on 𝗚MNI, the second one is on NEO. So it's not possible for me to open another position right now. I would simply just avoid that, right? But in case I ask you guys, or in case we don't have any open positions, in case you think that a setup is looking really good, just make use of the confluences that I'm using, right? These confluences, they're extremely easy. 1-day 12-period exponential moving average, apply it to your chart. Quarterly VWAP, yearly VWAP, apply it to your chart, and then simply just draw the support and resistance level. That's probably the easiest possible thing that you can do. Learning about support and resistance is the easiest possible thing in terms of trading. The first confluence that I teach to my student whenever they join my mentorship program, the first confluence I talk about is support and resistance, and it's really easy. The only reason why people find it so difficult, and let me tell you, when I first started doing technical analysis, I was absolutely annoyed at support and resistance levels, okay? Because at that time I was chasing perfection. I was thinking that there could be an infinite number of support and resistance levels on the same price chart, right? You could simply just draw a support resistance around here as well. You could simply just draw support around here as well. But soon I realized that when it comes to technical analysis, when it comes to trading in journal, there is always going to be subjectivity involved. But that does not mean that someone else, some other analyst is drawing his support at 97k and you are drawing your support at 99k. There cannot be huge discrepancy between opinions. But still, if he is doing it at 97k, you are doing it at 97.5k, then that's fine. And the only reason why we find it so difficult to draw support and resistance, first because we are chasing perfection, and secondly, you would only be able to draw it perfectly if you have enough practice with you. Okay, so now I absolutely love drawing support and resistance level. I can just do it as soon as I open a chart. I hardly spend more than 5 to 10 seconds on a single chart, because every day that I wake up, I just have to go through all of these 450 plus pairs at the same time. So it's not possible for you to spend 5 to 10 minutes looking at the same chart. So the way that I do is rank these coins as per percentage change, positive, negative. If it's moving downside, if it's in top losers, and there could be an opportunity for a long. If it's in top gainers, there could be an opportunity for short. All you have to do is just look at these coins and then just start pressing the then just simply start pressing the button. Okay, that's not looking good. This one is looking good. 𝗏𝗏𝗃, you can see that deviation above the resistance level. You can see that I already have an alert set. If it goes back up there, I'm going to place a short position. 𝗍, this is not looking good. This is not a structure that I would like to trade. Hardly this is the amount of time that I spend looking at these charts. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. This one already made a move. No position for me. Peanut. This is, once again, moving somewhere in the middle of nowhere. So no position for me. This one already has given a move at resistance. No position for me. Alpha, a deviation above resistance. So we can simply just set an alert around here. We are going to take a short position once it goes back up there. Enemy, no position for me, moving in a strong uptrend. Already has made a move above this support level, so that's why I'm not going to take any position on it. This one also sitting in the middle of nowhere, no position. 𝗟𝘁𝗲𝗃, this is an absolute shit coin. I would never ever try to trade it because it never really respects any levels. 𝗏𝗏𝗄𝗃, this one already has given a move at the resistance level. This one already given a resistance move. This one already has given a rejection at resistance. 𝗏𝗏𝗄𝗃, this one is sitting in the middle of nowhere. 𝗍𝗿, this one is sitting at support. I would avoid opening any long position. So this is the amount of time that I usually just spend. All of this is happening in my brain. The way that I explained to you, the way that I narrated to you, this is the amount of time that I spend looking at these charts. Okay, and that is how much time you get. You have to do sometimes all of these permutation was the word that I wanted to explain earlier. Combination and permutation. But anyways, I was mentioning that this is the amount of time that you would get even if you are a full-time trader. You just cannot keep looking at these charts for minutes, right? You would hardly get 10 to 15 seconds or maybe 20-25 seconds to just draw all of these support resistance levels. Just do the analysis, whatever you would like to do. And let's suppose if I look at a coin which is looking good, at that time I would just immediately turn on this show all indicators option, and I would just quickly take a look. Okay, if it's sitting at support and I'm looking to take a long position, I cannot do that because this one is already sitting below 4-hour quarterly VWAP, 1-day 12-period exponential moving average, 4-hour yearly VWAP. Okay, let's go to the next one. Boom. Okay, Turbo, this one is not looking good. 𝗟𝘁𝗃 not looking good. People not looking good. 𝗪𝑠 once again sitting in the middle of nowhere. This one also simply just consolidating. Vine, this could be a good one, but I would not like to trade this one. This one is not looking good. Hippo, not good. Fun. So that's how I just go through all of the coins in my watch list every single day. You don't really have time to chart all of these coins one by one. It's really difficult. And by the way, just to update you, USDT dominance once again had a rejection at the 1-day 12-period exponential moving average and the quarterly VWAP. And by the way, I have mentioned this to you in the past also, that whenever any of these two dynamic lines are crossing each other, specifically the ones that we always talk about, quarterly VWAP, yearly VWAP, and the 1-day 12-period exponential moving average, whenever any of these dynamic lines are crossing each other, it becomes a very strong support or resistance level. In this case, since price was trading below these two dynamic lines, it became a very strong resistance level, and you can see that how precise this rejection was. Okay, and this is why these dynamic levels are my favorite. Not many people out there are talking about. You look in the crypto Twitter space, people are usually talking about support, resistance, some other confluences, some fancy confluences, but nobody's talking about 1-day 12-period and the 4-hour quarterly and yearly VWAP. I usually always talk about the charts in terms of these very important dynamic levels, and you can see the reaction for yourself. You can see how precise these rejections are. On the USDT dominance chart, you had rejections, you have another massive rejection at the quarterly VWAP, and now you just saw another rejection happen, right? So for as long as we are trading below these levels, nothing really is going to change. There was a failed break towards upside, but still, my focus is going to be on these two dynamic lines. If you found a setup 10 by 10, would you not take it right now? No, I would not take it right now. I'll be honest with you, it's not about the rating. And I have explained this in the past also. No matter how good the setup is, if the overall market conditions are not supporting the bias, let's suppose if I just explained to you that I would be avoiding opening any long position right now because Bitcoin dominance has been going up. If I find a setup right now that has 10 by 10, rating and is like looking really good and it's a long setup, I would not take it because the external bias is not supporting it. Okay, so no matter how good the setup is, and by the way, during our last live stream we did discuss the same thing, that no matter how bad the setup is, if the external bias is right, it would end up playing out in your favor. Okay, just because your external bias was correct. So it's not about the rating of the setup, to be honest, it's about figuring out the right external bias. And that is why most people find trading so difficult, is because finding the right bias, finding the right external bias is also the most difficult thing. Okay, every single day you have to wake up, you have to look at the macroeconomic news events, you have to look at the geopolitical news events, you have to look at the charts, and then you have to decide what exactly is going to be the correct external bias. Okay, you cannot predict what exactly the orange man is going to say, you cannot predict what exactly is going to happen in terms of macroeconomic events, what exactly the data is going to look like, but still you would have to figure out the right external bias. And that's why it becomes so difficult, just because there are so many different variables that you cannot directly calculate or into play at the same time in the market. That's why figuring out the right external bias, it's a really difficult thing, and that's why trading in general becomes so difficult. It's not about trading, it's not about confluences, it's not about literally anything. Okay, it's usually just about figuring out the right external bias. How do you develop indicators like these? These are custom, are not they? How does the creation and validation process go? It's once again coming up with the right idea. I have been, for example, recently I have been working up, on a point of control indicator, a volume point of control indicator. You first of all have to figure out the right logic. You first of all have to come up with the right idea. That what exactly are you looking to create? What exactly is the idea like? Okay, for example, when I was working on 1-day 12-period exponential moving average, I used to think that, okay, 1-day 12-period moving average on the daily time frame is a very good period, is a very good moving average. But because of the lag part, because of the lag that you encounter, that you face on the daily time frame chart, it's not possible to trade that average. What if I could simply just visualize that average, the same dynamic line, without changing the positioning of it? For example, if you use the traditional moving average indicator, as soon as you would change the time frame in trading view, the positioning is going to change. What if we could simply just get rid of that part, and if on the smaller time frame chart we could visualize how the moving average from the higher time frame is working, right? Nobody had nobody had tried to develop this logic, nobody had tried to work on this indicator, but somehow I thought, okay, what if we could simply just visualize this on the smaller time frame chart, how exactly it's going to look like? Okay, because this could really be a big thing. Most of the times 1-day 12-period exponential moving average on a daily is also a good thing, is also a good confluence, but the main reason is lag. On the daily time frame chart, there is a huge lag. By the time the moves happen on the daily time frame chart, already a 7%, 8%, 10%, 12% move would have already happened. So we don't have enough time to catch the move. And by that time, you enter into the position on the daily time frame chart. Based on daily time frame reaction, price would be making a reversal. Okay, so what if we could simply just get rid of the lag, okay, without going to the super small time frame? What if you could simply just visualize this higher period on the smaller time frame, higher period, higher time frame on the smaller time frame, right? And that's when I came up with the idea of 1-day 12-period exponential moving average visualization on the 4-hour time frame chart. And that's when you start working on the logic, that what exactly the logic is going to be in terms of programming, right? And that's when you just try to develop the logic, and you would ultimately develop the indicator. I'm not someone who has huge experience in terms of programming, so that's why I find it really difficult to develop these indicators. I'm just a self-taught person, in terms of trading, in terms of programming, in terms of any of these things that I'm talking about. So I find it really difficult. Sometimes I don't really have any third party helping me developing any of these indicators, or developing any of these things. So that's why I find it really difficult. But yeah, I have recently been working on this new indicator, which I personally believe is going to be a really, really huge thing, and that is the point of control. So volume point of controls, but the POC is going to be based on totally different logic. It's going to be based on different months, it's going to be based on the previous months, the previous days. But all these indicators, they're already available, but on different paid platforms, different paid charting platform. TradingView does not have one single best indicator that would help you visualize the previous month's point of controls, volume point of controls in the best possible manner on all different time frames. There are one or two indicators, but the once again, the issue is same. They're not really the good indicators. Usually different other charting platforms like Sierra chart, like Exo charts, they usually have like good indicators to draw point of controls for the previous months or for a selected, set of data. So I have recently been trying to create a similar kind of indicator, but when it comes to volume, the logic is not easy to figure out. So that's why, it's taking a bit of time. But yeah, I'm hopeful that in the next like 1 month or so, I would be able to come up with a totally different indicator that's going to, shock almost all of you. I hope so. What about the standard deviation and the rest? You just can play with the standard deviation settings, but this is not something which is correct, which is not something which is directly connected to the indicator. Standard deviation is like simply a deviation from the dynamic line that you have plotted. Okay, so let's suppose if you have a 0.5 standard deviation set, it's simply just going to plot two deviations 0.5% away from this dynamic line. So 0.5% upside, 0.5% downside, this is your standard deviation, right? So standard deviation is not something which is always helpful. In terms of TVEM band, I have found out that the standard deviation is sometimes helpful because sometimes price would not Pico give a retest at the dynamic level and just at the standard deviation. So you can see that in my TVEM band indicator, I have the standard deviation, but it's very small standard deviation. So, whenever price goes back down to this level, it's a cloud basically. I have, reduced the transparency in this. Sorry, I have reduced the visibility in this. So, whenever price goes back down to this level, I would usually take the trade if it's a long position or short position. Please, when do we expect the bull market to kickstart? Now, that's a $1 million question. I don't really have the answer to this. In fact, nobody would have the right answer to this. Everybody would be speculating whenever they would try to respond to this question. But the bull market, we are already in a bull market. We have been in the bull market since 15th of October 2023, when Bitcoin made its move above 28,000. We have been in the bull market since 10th of January 2024, when the Bitcoin ETF was approved. We have been in the bull market since 24th of January 2024, when Bitcoin made a move above 48,000. We have been in the bull market ever since Bitcoin created the new all-time high back on 13th of March 2024. We have been in the bull market ever since Bitcoin crossed the 100,000 level. So if you are thinking about the right time to enter in the bull market, then you are really late, my friend, because we have been in the bull market for the past 2 years, in fact. But do we only do long positions when all three charts are bullish? No, not USDT, because USDT dominance has to be bearish for you to open a long position. USDT dominance is something which is negatively correlated or inversely correlated chart with Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin has to go up, USDT dominance has to go down. So right now you just saw that Bitcoin made a move towards upside because USDT dominance got rejected at the quarterly VWAP and the 1-day 12-period exponential moving average. Quite simple. DT is asking, maybe this is a question for clarity and the PDF. You just said what indicators you are using when you open a chart. Okay, I missed the question. When you open a chart, you first draw support resistance and look at your indicators, and that tells you all. Yes, that's very much all the time you have. I'm not saying that this is all the time you would spend looking at the position that you are about to take. For example, if you look at my watch list right now, I have added all of these coins that I found out were looking good when I went through my BLOFIN watch list. You can see that 𝗏𝗏, ALU, 𝗥𝗏𝗍𝗏, 𝗏𝗏𝗏, USDT, Luna 2, 𝗙𝗍𝗆, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. So all of these coins are looking good in terms of these 3 or 4 confluences: support, resistance, 1-day 12-period exponential moving average, quarterly VWAP, yearly VWAP. So these charts they don't really have any issue in terms of position that you are about to take. But now you would notice that sometimes it takes days, sometimes it takes hours, sometimes it takes weeks for me to open an actual position on those coins, because then first of all you would have to filter some coins, 8 to 9 coins. Then you would have to continuously monitor those coins, okay, based on the market reaction, based on how those coins are reacting. Let me show you an example of this. Okay, the whole market has been stable. Okay, we have two open positions. The first one is on Omni and Neo. Both of these positions are at the entry price. Both of these coins, they have not dropped a lot. Okay, they are, because Bitcoin is stable and others.d is sitting at support and total 2 is sitting at support. But look at Python right now. Okay, that's, these are the things that you need to look at. The Python, although the overall market has been stable, Python has just continuously been going down. Python has been constantly going down. It just had a 13% move. So, by continuously looking at these coins, it basically gives you an idea that, some of these pairs, they absolutely don't give a shit about what's happening in the in the market outside. And these are the pairs that you need to target. It could be an outperformer in terms of top gainers. It could be an outperformer in terms of a top loser, which is the case with Python right now. It has been continuously outperforming the market in terms of going down. Okay, so these are the coins that you need to target, because that's when you know that, okay, I'm completely covered. I wanted to open a short position, because Bitcoin dominance has been going up. Bitcoin could go down at any moment. So short positions, they're slightly favorable in comparison to the long positions. And secondly, I need to target a coin that gives absolutely no shit about the rest of the market. And Python is the best possible choice in this case. Okay, so that's how you monitor the coin. That's how you look at the reactions on the coin, and based on that, you decide if you should be going into that position or not. Are we expecting this on 2x speed? Yeah, this is basically the process. How can I get all of your indicators? All of my indicators, they're absolutely free. You can simply just join the Discord server, give us your BLOFIN UID. We would give you the scripts of these indicators. You can go into your TradingView terminal, open up the Pine Editor tab, copy paste the script, click on add to your chart, and the indicator, it would automatically be added to your chart. Okay, that's all you have to do, nothing else. Thank you so much, TT. Once again, 50 plus people watching the live stream. Only 44 of you have liked it. I would really appreciate if all of you are just, if all of you can simply just smash that like button quickly. Would you drop any short positions soon? No, we already have 2 short positions open. Both of these positions are running at risk, which means stop loss has not been moved to break even. I already explained that I cannot have more than 2 open positions running at the same time at risk. So no, I'm not going to open any other position right now. What levels are you looking for taking longs? 97.5k. I'm simply just not looking to any long position right now, I'll be honest with you. But if Bitcoin drops down to, if I just show you a general chart for Bitcoin, okay, let's open a simple chart. Okay, let's go to the daily time frame chart. It's very simple. Okay, this is something that I explained in my market update also. This is the resistance that we are trading at. All of us would agree with this, right? We had daily time frame rejection, daily time frame rejection, daily time frame rejection, daily time frame rejection. We have failed to close a daily candle above 107k as of now. If we close a daily candle above 107k, just forget about the 4-hour time frame chop and all those things. If we close a daily candle above this level on the daily time frame chart, once again, you would wait for consolidation. And because 125,000 level is where the 127% level is, like if you would draw the, if you want to see, or if you want to know where exactly this move happened at, not only this was a move at support, but at the same time, this was a move at 61% fib level. Like if you would draw the fib level from the start of impulsive wave to the end of impulsive wave, this was a precise move at the 61.8% fib level, which means that this is a very beautiful fractal, right? Like the Trump says, big beautiful bill, his tax bill. So this is a very beautiful fractal, big beautiful fractal. So, in terms of this fractal, the next resistance level is at 127.2%, which is 125,000. So that's where price would ultimately go back up to. That's where the next all-time high is going to be. But that really depends on how we break above this resistance level. If we go back down, then you can see that this is the next support, okay? You can just see this for yourself. And, if you don't have any clarity, you can go to the smaller time frame chart. And based on that, you can find out that this is where the next support for Bitcoin is. 97.8k. You can slightly adjust it and you can find out that 97.8k, 97.5k, this is where the next support for Bitcoin is. and then the next support is at 94k, 93k. Okay, so if we lose this support, then we would ultimately go back down to this level, 87,000, and if we start losing this level, then we would ultimately be going back down to 73,000. So it's very simple: 125,000, 97,000, 94,000, 87,000, and 73, 74,000. Very simple. Okay, so you need to simply just play level by level. Sherlock, just so you know, you have responsibility to retire us, make us financially free. Yes, I have been working in that direction. I have been trying my best, but yes, I definitely take that responsibility. And this is what I'm doing right now. Okay, I'm giving you all the tools. I'm giving you all the information, not just in terms of calls. It's important, but also in terms of information. It's important. And remember this thing: the most important thing I've learned from this space is that information is the key, right? It's not just about the insider information I'm talking about. I'm talking about the general information that you get from watching these live streams, that you get looking at these posts. And whenever someone asks me that how you learned about trading, how you learned all of these strategies and everything, it was not from any YouTube video. It was not, from a mentor. It was not reading a book. It was not watching any other YouTube video or content creator. It was by looking at all these different sources of information. It was by looking at all of these different posts. So Twitter was always my favorite tool to learn trading, because I used to hear all these different opinions, 10 different people giving 10 different opinions, 5 of them saying price is going up, 5 of them saying price is going down. 10 different people have 10 different confluences that they are using, but at the same time you are having access to 10 different minds, 10 different mindsets, 10 different brains at the same time. Okay, so that's how you learn about information. That's how you learn to value the information. And in terms of physics also, they say that entropy, it's information, right? So information is the key, and information is the most important aspect of trading, in my opinion. Yeah, I will get there. When people say BTC at least 150k this year, I was just looking at some of the projections that have been made by JP Morgan and some of the other important institutions, and as per these assessments, Bitcoin could go to as high as 800k, and if the conditions remain stable, it could easily go up to $1.5 million. Okay, I don't know how true is that, but once again, all of these are simply just assumptions, and it's based on the idea that Bitcoin is going to take a major share, major market capitalization of gold. But once again, simply just speculation. I can only give you my projections based on the next levels that we have, and I have always mentioned this thing, that I'm not a fundamental analyst. I cannot tell you if it's going to $1 million or not. The only levels that I'm concerned about is right now is 107k and 97.5k. These two are the only levels that I'm concerned about, because I would just play level by level, right? What are your thoughts on Dr. Profit? Okay. I would not like to shame someone publicly during a live stream which is recorded, which is always going to be available. But yeah, I don't really have good thoughts on that person. So yeah, let's just not talk about it. Any coins you're looking to take today? No, we already have 2 open positions. There is bearish divergence. Before I answer this question, I don't trade divergences. Okay, bullish divergences, bearish divergences on RSI, I don't really trade divergences. So I wouldn't really be able to answer your question in a way which is, maybe best to you, because I simply just don't trade divergences. I have never found the concept of RSI to be to be something which makes sense to me. I don't know why exactly is that. I know for sure that RSI, it's a very good indicator. Relative strength index, it's a very good indicator. Same is the case with MACD as well. These 2 indicators and Bollinger Bands also, some of these traditional indicators, they're really good. But for some reason, I have never fancied using MACD and RSI. And, I'm better off just trading moving averages. That's the area that I have perfected. That's the area that I have mastered over years. So that's why I usually don't trade divergences. Unless Neo or Omni are de-risked, we should not expect anything. Yes, that's true. if you had to choose one or two coins to invest, obviously Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Doge. I have said this in the past live streams also. I am not recommending anyone to hold Dogecoin, but for some reason, I have found myself in a situation where I'm holding a big bag of Dogecoin, and I don't really know, why exactly I'm holding that bag. Okay, for some reason, I just wanted to have an exposure to any other coin apart from just Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I decided to go into Dogecoin, which was the worst possible decision, right? Same was the case with ETH as well. My average entry was around 3,100, 3,000. I should have sold at 4,100. Historic last words. I should have sold, bro. So I should have sold at 4,100, 4,200. I just did not do that because I was waiting for 4,700. But anyways, I'm not upset about holding Bitcoin and ETH. And my answer would always be the same, because I'm not an investor. I cannot give you any long-term holdings apart from Bitcoin and Ethereum. When it comes to Bitcoin and Ethereum, yes, you should absolutely have Bitcoin and Ethereum in your portfolio. And it's not just about Bitcoin and Ethereum. You should be diversifying your portfolio, not just crypto, but invest into equities, invest into government bonds, invest into, crypto market, invest into some other, physical assets. It's very important, right? And it's very important to have all of these different assets in your portfolio. And do not chase 20%, 30%, 40% gains in a month, because it's not realistically possible until and unless you are, James Simon, until and unless you are Warren Buffett, until and unless even James Simon and Warren Buffett, they were not targeting 40-50% gains in a month. And people we have here are simply just trying to double their portfolios in 1 month. James Simon, one of the best, most successful hedge fund managers, he had 60%, 67% average returns over the past 30-40 years, ever since he created his hedge fund Renaissance Capital. So, and mind you, they were using the most sophisticated trading strategies that are available out there. So, and I have said this previously also, that it's not just about this, it's not just about using any sophisticated trading strategy, because it's a very wide it's a very wide spectrum, it's a very broad spectrum. People on one end, like James Simon, they used to have all these complex mathematical models to trade, and people on the other hand, like Warren Buffett, are simply just using high school mathematics to decide which stocks they should be picking, which uh you know um what assets they should be investing in. So it's quite easy, because it's a very broad spectrum. So it's not just about learning any complex mathematical strategies or any complex ICT SMC theories. It's simply just about, finding your own unique edge in the market. Okay. Okay guys, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. Please do not forget to like the live stream and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's really important. I would really appreciate it. If you are not following me over Twitter, I occasionally post market updates and calls over my Twitter account as well. 𝗨𝘅𝗶𝗵𝗵, this is my Twitter handle. Once again, the link you can find in the description of this video. And finally, if you would like to have more organized updates and calls, you can always join the Discord server. The link is going to be in the chat box and in the description of this video. Once again, thank you so much for joining in. If you still have any questions, yes, I would share the watch list with you. If you would open the support ticket, simply just open the support ticket, mention one of the staff members, and I would give you the link to the watch list. And if you still have any questions, you can join the Discord server. You can open a support ticket. It's regarding mentorship program. It's regarding membership. It's regarding the free trial. It's regarding any of the indicators, the watch list, or any other links that we can provide to you. You're more than welcome to ask any of these questions. You're more than welcome to have access to any of these different resources that we have, PDFs or anything. Just join the Discord server and open a support ticket. We'll try our best to help you. Okay, thank you so much. Take care and see you guys next week. Bye bye.